मैडम टीका ठीक
भैया खट्टा कम है।
मामा मामा प्लीज मामा मामा पानी पूरी
अरे नहीं बिल्कुल नहीं, गला खराब हो जाएगा। अरे बेटा
This is a commercial?
Yeah, I think so.
तुम ना बहुत
Don't you love little kids
अरे
laughing?
अरे 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 पारे उड़ाड़े अरे चाय এটা কে রে ও এটা কি হয়েছে
क्या मस्ती करने का बार में इधर बहुत पुरानी अंकिल तो बात करता
How can you respect your nation if you cannot respect your national anthem? Respect your national anthem. Respect your nation.
Whoa.
That's an interesting commercial.
What do you think about that?
I, as you know, am a big fan of America's national anthem. So I absolutely agree with that sentiment.
I took my hat off for it.
I know you did. And I have heard some of our Indian friends tell us you are also always supposed to stand for the anthem. But then some of the other Indian friends said if you're indoors doing what we're doing, it's okay not to stand. So for those who say we should stand, we mean no offense. It's easier to watch and respond to a video that way. But back to the subject matter, I agree with that sentiment. I think that it's important. Your national anthem is part of the identity of who you are as a nation. And I know for me as an American, like when we go to a ball game, like when we were at the baseball game a week and a half ago, every time they play our national anthem, to me that is, it always gives me chills. And it's very, very meaningful and powerful to me because it speaks something about who we are as a people. I would imagine it's the same way for our Indian friends. And they're very proud of their anthem, and they should be. So I really liked that commercial. That was nice.
Every now and then somebody will say something in the comments about, are you for real? With this co-protector Indian stuff. Like, come on, dude, you're just being a goof. What would you say about that?
Well, from the standpoint of, obviously you're here in America. You're not literally there in India
I am.
to physically protect them. But it's your mentality.
While you're sleeping.
It's your mentality and the attitude of your heart that you feel protective of the Indian people.
I do. I do.
And I think that that's important because there are friends, and India as a nation is an ally to the United States, and vice versa. The United States is an ally to the nation of India, and so I just think that it fosters friendship. And so yes, you're not physically there protecting them, but the attitude of your heart and the sentiment behind it is that you believe that as Americans we should be there to protect our Indian friends.
Do you know why?
I think you tell it best.
I worked with Indians, and they were kind to me.
Yep.
But ultimately, the reason I have these feelings in my heart towards the Indians is what happened up the road.
Our son was actually just talking about that the other day because there was an article in the newspaper kind of going over a little bit of that case from nearly 16 years ago, where there was a Sikh
Yes.
who was mistaken for a Muslim
Yes.
in the immediate aftermath of 9/11.
Yes.
And he was murdered.
Yes.
And it was literally just blocks away from our
Yes.
house.
Blocks away from our
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
They murdered a Sikh
Yeah.
because they thought he was Muslim
Yeah.
with the headgear.
He had his turban on, right.
He had his turban on. And the connection that we have to this is, I know the family of the victim,
Right.
and we know the family of the murderer.
Right. Exactly.
And
We don't know the murderer personally, nor do we know the victim personally. But
we're familiar with them.
Right. But we are familiar with
Yes.
the case.
Yes,
And
and have spoke to members of their family.
yes.
And I view it as my sacred duty wherever I go, and you can attest to this, when I see Indians, to make sure they're being treated fairly,
Right.
that they're not being discriminated against, and nobody is being ill to them.
Right.
You've seen
Oh,
that.
I agree.
And it's because of that has happened. I mean, and far too often, I think, you get people who are maybe not educated in America.
Right. Which happens all around the world.
They would be our version of Pakistanis, I
Right,
guess, that are just
And
aren't
thankfully there's a minority of them
who
Yeah.
see Indian and think Muslim, and it's like, dude, what are you
Right.
doing?
Right.
Like,
Or they
come
see
on.
a turban and they automatically
Yes.
assume Muslim.
Or they see brown skin and they think
Right,
Muslim,
right.
like not just Muslim but jihadist.
Right. That's what I was going to say. It would be more accurate to say that they think terrorist, not just
Yes,
run of the mill.
yes.
Because there is a doctor out here named Zuhdi Jasser, who is a Muslim, but he is not a jihadist. He's not a radical. He is very much of the belief that Islamic countries, that is, should have a Jeffersonian outlook. They should be democratized. And so he is Muslim, but he is not radical.
Right.
And there needs to be more voices like Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, who, as I said, is here in Arizona. As far as kind of the interaction that we have had personally with Indian people here in America,
Can you think of a rude Indian?
I will tell you, when I was in high school, we had one foreign exchange student who was very rude.
Was he Indian?
He happened to be from India,
Okay,
but that wasn't why he was
maybe it
rude.
was, no.
That had nothing to do with
It's
why he
probably
was
Bengali
rude.
or something.
I
It
don't
was
know.
an Indian dude.
I don't remember.
It was
but
an Indian, right.
My dad, when I was a small
Kashmir.
child, my dad's boss, Mr. Diljit Galati, was Indian. And he was so kind to our family. And so that is a memory that sticks with me. One of the first memories that I have, really, of thinking of where my dad worked and who he worked for, and this man was just always very kind to our family. But also, nobody knows this. You do, but nobody, none of our friends know this because I've never mentioned it. But my very first boyfriend, when I was 13 years
Yes.
old, was Indian.
Yes. What was his name?
I'm not going to name him because I don't know if he would want his name put
What's
out
his first
there.
name?
Siraj was his first name.
Siraj.
And yes, I was 13. We were in 8th grade, and he was my very first boyfriend. So yes, and even when we were no longer boyfriend and girlfriend, we remained friends all through high school, and he was very nice.
Now, you could talk films with him. You could talk Irfan Khan if you ran into him.
Yes, if we were to ever run into
and
him,
speak intelligently
yes,
about it.
yes, we could. Yes, we could.
Another Indian that was very, very kind to us is when I was working, and I thought I had to quit because of the hours I was having, and I went to my boss, Sharon Golwar,
Yes,
and
yes.
said, I'm going to have to quit because I can't see my... He said, bring your family to work.
Yes.
Hire your wife.
Yes,
What?
that is
Hire
correct.
your wife. That's
Yep.
fine. Bring your kid down. I don't care.
Yep. So
Said,
he
"Oh,
let me work
okay,
there with
yes,
you
yes.
and let us bring our son, who
Yes.
was like not even 5 at the
Yes,
time.
yes.
Yep. Let us bring him
Yes.
to work as well. Yeah. So we have always had very positive experiences personally and online with our Indian friends.
Yes, I agree. The Indians are a kind people group. I mean, very kind.
I agree.
And I enjoy their company.
Yeah.
I really do. I enjoy their company. So thank you so much for watching. Would you please subscribe to the channel if you haven't? We'll have a lot more videos coming. We're really going to put some focus in on India
films.
Yes.
And there have been a few of our friends who have been suggesting that I watch more Big B films, and believe me, that's not a problem, because I really like Big B. So I do. He's such a good actor. I just find
not better than Irfan Khan.
Well, it's different.
I have become a crazy cinema Indian fan. No, Irfan Khan is the best.
It's different. He plays different roles, and I just really like him. I find him to be just such a neat character.
And he was in. They were together in Piku.
They were together in Piku, and they were hilarious. Their interaction was very funny. So yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. Say goodbye, Warrior Queen.
Goodbye, Warrior Queen.